when you are script writing, I'm showing a script here, and so you're seeing it. What you see are things like point, right? So I'll be at the teleprompter and I'll get to a space and I'll say point left maybe, or point right. And I'll give myself little side instructions. Sometimes I'll have little hints about the kinds of animations or visuals that are going to come into play, and I'll put that right in the script. So be thinking of pictures as you're writing a script. The script is the key to a great MOOC. You want to write scripts that are funny and they obviously must have substantive meat, academic meat, to make them work effectively. But if you write a script that's the way you talk as an academic, right? A professor, for example. Teachers, I think, have it a little luckier. Professors get so used to the rarefied world of academia that they can be very pedantic, and your scripts cannot be that way. So it can be a good idea to have somebody else look at your scripts, even a couple of people, and say, you know, am I coming off sounding like a really boring academic with this? And you can often tighten scripts substantially. When I write a script, it comes out this way, really academic. Then I go back over it and I translate it into something that's more like normal people would say. And then I go through it again to tighten it up, because often there's extraneous words that can be left out. It can be simplified. And particularly for you learners that are in foreign countries, they like it simple, they like it direct, and not a bunch of extra verbiage. So keep those things in mind as you're script writing.
Did you know? To get your mouth used to what you will be saying, read the script just before filming several times. Catch infelicities and find areas to simplify. Barbara Oakley, the secret sauce behind the world's most popular online course.
Now, I like to use what I call the Steve Jobs approach. Now, Steve Jobs had this idea that when we had a computer, you may not remember this, but it used to be when you opened your computer, it would take a long time for it to boot up, and it was totally boring. So nowadays, of course, you open a laptop, it boots right up. And that is because Steve Jobs said, every second counts. I don't want people being really sitting around waiting for their computers to boot up. If you multiply that out by every user all around the world, that turns into billions of wasted seconds. So it's actually the same thing for MOOCs. You don't want to waste a bunch of seconds. So if you are making something that's high quality for other people, if you script, you can be sure that every word you say is meaningful, it counts, and in fact, it can be the best lecture you've ever given in your life, because not only is it all scripted and you've really thought it all out, but it is something that if you do a bad job, you can stop and reshoot it again. So again, every lecture is the best lecture you've ever given in your life, although it may not seem like it when you're shooting sometimes.
Think fast. How should the script be? A. Plain and generic. B. Really academic and complex. C. Simple and direct. Correct answer, C. Simple and direct.
Now, another trick that people often forget is use tricks from great nonfiction. Now, you may say, well, what do you mean by that? And the thing is, well, first off, great nonfiction keeps the verbal surprises coming. You work at your scripts so that it brings these unusual metaphors to life, right? And unusual ways of looking at things. And you want to have a script that hooks you somehow. There should be something at the beginning of your videos where people go, what's she talking about? What's he talking about? Why does he have a cleaver on his, we're sitting on the table in front of him? anything that can hook people. From neuroscience, there's a concept known as neural reuse theory, that when you learn something using just a simple metaphor, you'll use the exact same circuits that you use to understand the more difficult topic itself. And we'll talk a little more about that later on. That's part of being a great writer, but it's also part of being a great teacher. Thank you so much for your attention today, and I hope this might have been a little bit valuable for you.